I made $127,560 in just 7 days with Google Ads dropshipping, with a 46% net profit margin, which is $58,000 in profit. And I did this by working just 90 minutes per day. And no, I don't have some huge team. In fact, I have one part-time virtual assistant. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I did it, including the actual profit and loss. But how is it that I'm able to make $58,000 in profit in just 7 days when most dropshippers are lucky to make 10% net profit after all costs considered? Yet I'm able to work less and make more. Well, the key to my success is by building branded, niche-specific, high-ticket dropshipping stores and simply selling products to customers on Google who are actively looking for them. Think about it. Where do you go when you want to buy something online? Google, right? Exactly. So I just sell products on Google to people who are already looking for them. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the same. But before we get into it, I want to give you some context. My dropshipping brand is now 7 months old, and I've documented the entire journey of me building it here on YouTube. In fact, 4 months ago, I released a video, and the title was my plan to go from 10 to 100K per month with my new dropshipping brand. In that video, I gave away my entire strategy for free, and I stated with confidence that this plan will get me to 100K per month. But I was wrong. Not only did it take me to 100K per month, we did $127,560 in just 7 days. So let's pull up the Shopify dashboard. I'll show you the numbers and then we'll break down exactly how I did it. So here we can see the inside of my Shopify analytics, and we're looking at the time frame of November 27th to December 4th. And as you can see, $127,560 in sales, last refreshed at 11:19. Let me hit that refresh button again so you can see that these numbers are of course legit. There we go. Last refreshed at 11:47, and as you can see, the sales data is $127,560. But what does that look like in terms of the actual profit and loss? Well, let's take a look. So as I mentioned to you guys a moment ago, I launched this brand 7 months ago. So you can see I launched it back in May 2025. In that 7-month period, you can see we've generated $380,758 in sales, and each month we've grown bigger and bigger. You can see in May we went from 8K to June 14K, July 18K, August 33K, September 43K, October 69K, and then November 192K. Of course, the period we were looking at in Shopify was the end of November to the start of December, but we're not all the way through the month of December yet, so I will do an update for you guys at the end of December as well. But I think the most important thing looking here is the actual profit, and here you can see the profit as a percentage, okay? This is net profit after deducting COGS and advertising spend. COGS is cost of goods, essentially all of the costs that go into generating the sale, which is the product cost, the shipping cost, and any payment processor transaction fees, which we've calculated here on a month-to-month basis. This is my Google advertising spend that went into generating the sales. So to calculate our profit, we simply take the sales and we deduct the total ad spend and the total cost of goods sold to get the total profit. Now I'm going to be extremely transparent with you guys. There are some small costs that aren't taken into consideration in this profit calculation, just such as my Shopify subscription and also my virtual assistant that I mentioned earlier, who is working part-time. But honestly, back in May, June, July, she was working like 1 to 2 hours per day. So these costs are minimal, which is why I don't calculate them here. So we may have an additional like 1 to 1.5K USD that would be deducted from this total profit. But as you can see, the profit margin is still incredibly high. Even for the month of November, we generated 46% net profit at a 5x return on advertising spend, which equated to $89,000. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. But before we do that, I want to take a moment and pause and explain to you that these results are not unusual inside of my mentorship program, okay? I have 2 students this month who have done over $100,000 as well, using the exact same strategies that I'm about to share with you right now by building branded, niche-specific, high-ticket dropshipping stores and generating sales via Google Ads. We have Fabi, who did 91,000 euros in sales for the month of December, which is about 105,000 US dollars. Then we have Oscar. He did over 1 million Swedish kroners in the month of December, which is about $106,000 $100,000. And don't worry guys, I'm not just going to throw results out there without giving you actual proof. I'm going to be recording extensive case studies with both Fabi and Oscar breaking down exactly how we did it. So if you aren't already, make sure to like this video and more importantly, hit subscribe so that you do not miss these case study breakdowns, because we're going to go into extreme detail so you can see exactly how we did it. Now, as I mentioned, they did this by building branded, niche-specific, high-ticket dropshipping stores and generating sales via Google Ads. There is a very specific reasoning behind this choice of words, and I'm going to break it down for you right now. So first and foremost, brand, okay? Like I mentioned, branded, niche, specific, high ticket, dropshipping via Google Ads. So let's break these down one by one. First and foremost, why do we want to build a brand? Well, we want to build a brand because it allows us to become what I call a micro authority. The reason we want to become a micro authority is because it allows us to charge a premium price point. Why do we want to charge a premium price point? Well, at the end of the day, we're doing this for profit, right? So by charging a premium price point, we make more profit. So then the question is, how do we become an authority? Well, we become an authority by building a niche specific store. By selling a category or subcategory of products, we can become a micro authority within that niche. And now you may have heard the saying, the riches are in the niches, and there's a lot of truth to that, okay? Because when you become a micro authority within a niche, you become the go-to person for those products. Now, when you're the go-to person for those products, you can charge a premium price point, which means you can sell high ticket products, which ultimately means more profit. What do we mean by high ticket? Well, we want to sell products that are at least $100 plus. Why do we want to sell products that are $100 plus? Well, because we are dropshipping. So what is dropshipping and why do we do it? Well, dropshipping just means that we're sending products directly from China to our customer's address without having to come into contact with the product ourselves, which means there's no upfront cost and we don't have to invest in inventory. So because of that, that makes it low risk. Not only is it low risk, but it's also high reward, okay? Why is it high reward? Well, because if done correctly, you can make $127,560 in just 7 days. I haven't taken on any risk. There's no upfront stock investment. All I've done is done market research, found products that people are looking for on Google, and I'm going to break that down in just a moment. It's called my 4-step product validation method. It's a strategy I've devised over the past 5 years of experience from Google Ads dropshipping to find products that have high demand, low competition, products that are evergreen, meaning we can sell them year round, and products that of course have a high profit potential, which is high ticket products that are $100 plus. Once you find those products, all I'm doing is building a website that positions myself as an authority within a niche, which means I can charge a premium price point and sell high ticket products by using Google Ads, which is the last note here. So why Google Ads? Well, as I asked you earlier, where do you go when you want to buy something? You go to Google, right? And what you do is you search for it. You will type in the name of the product that you're looking for on Google. So as an advertiser on Google, all I do is put my products in front of people that are already searching for them, which means I'm getting my products and my ads in front of a very high intent audience. What do I mean by high intent? Well, like we're saying, you go to Google when you're ready to buy something, you likely already have your credit card in your hand. Because I'm simply selling products to people that are already looking for them, I don't spend very much on advertising spend. And Google is very different in the way that it bills compared to Meta, and I'll share more on that in just a moment. But hopefully you can start to see that these aren't just a collection and combination of words that I've put together because they sound cool. It's exactly what we're doing. We're building branded, niche-specific, high-ticket dropshipping stores, and we're generating sales via Google Ads. Now, when you combine all of these things, not only do you build a business that is extremely profitable with an extremely high success rate when you implement my 4-step product validation method, which again, I will share with you in just a moment, but you actually start to build brand IP, okay? What do I mean by brand IP? Well, your brand starts to become very attractive to prospective buyers. What's the first thing that a prospective buyer will look at when they're interested in buying your business? The profit and loss. And we've just taken a look at that, and you've seen what my profit and loss looks like. And that's not just mine, by the way. My students look the exact same. They're running extremely lean, profitable businesses. So that's the first thing that a prospective buyer is going to look at. And then they're going to determine how much of a moat you've built around your business. Now, if you've built a brand that is a micro authority within a niche, selling a category or subcategory of products, which is the go-to place where people go when they're looking for this particular category or subcategory of products, that means you're going to have a lot of social proof, reviews, and of course, testimonials. So this is going to start to look very attractive to someone external that's interested in purchasing it. Not only that, but you don't have tons of inventory, so they're not taking on any risk because you're simply drop shipping from China, which makes it even more appealing. Then they're going to look at the advertising. Okay, what is the method of advertising and how does it work? Do I need to put together tons of images and videos and creatives on Meta? No, you don't. We just use Google Ads and we just put products in front of people who are actively looking for them, which is why I'm able to run this business by spending just 90 minutes a day, most of which is spent optimizing the Google Ad account and liaising with my suppliers, whilst my virtual assistant handles all of the customer support. Now, not only is this business extremely lean, efficient, and profitable, but one day, if you decide you want to sell it, you absolutely can, because the business fundamentals, the business economics make sense and they're stacked in your favor to attract a prospective buyer, which is exactly how I sold my first dropshipping business back in 2020. Remember guys, like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years now, okay? This isn't some new strategy that I'm testing. It's been tried, tested, and become bulletproof over the past 5 years. And I've built a step-by-step system that if you just follow it, you can bring products to market with an extremely high success rate, which is exactly what all of my students are doing. It's important when building a business that the business fundamentals and the economics make sense. The most important thing is getting the foundation right from the get-go, and then it's going to be very easy for you to scale month over month like I've done with my store. The problem is most people get this wrong from the get-go. They do low-ticket dropshipping using meta ads. Now, most of the time when people watch my videos, they find themselves nodding and agreeing with what I'm saying, and they're like, Theo, this is so logical. Why are more people not doing this? Now, the reason you won't find anyone else talking about this online is because I'm doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Now, I'm reading a book at the moment. It's called Transurfing in 78 Days. And I want to read you a short passage from this book and explain why I do the opposite to what everyone else is doing. So, it says here, in order to achieve real success, you have to stop following widely accepted stereotypes and walk your own path. Anyone who pulls out of the general system creates a new measure of success. It then goes on to say, you will achieve nothing until you realize that you have to step out of the rank and file. There is no point in playing someone else's game where you are not the one making up the rules. Whatever you do, always initiate your own game. This is the secret of success. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, guys. I'm creating my own game. A lot of the time when people watch my videos, they find themselves nodding and going, this is so logical. Why haven't I heard this before? And more importantly, Theo, why is no one else teaching this online? Because they're all playing a different game. All right. Everyone's so focused on selling $20, $30, $40, $50 products using meta ads where they have to test tons of images and videos, creatives, where they're up against people with huge budgets. And then they're wondering why the business fundamentals and the economics don't make sense when the cost of advertising is increasing on Meta. They have to get hundreds and hundreds of sales just to make 10% net profit at the end of it. But they do it because that's what everyone else is telling them to do. And that's why I really liked this passage from that book. So actually it's a good thing that no one else is talking about these strategies online. Keep it that way. More opportunity for me, for you, and for all of my students. So let me now explain why I preach high ticket products as opposed to low ticket, and I'll show you a short calculation. After that, we're going to run through my 4-step product validation method so that you can start finding high ticket products and simply sell them online to people that are already looking for them. So let's get into it. So here is what most people do. They sell products that are around about, let's just say, $30 in value, okay? They dropship products using meta ads. Now let's just run some maths here. Now let's assume that you've successfully generated 100 sales, right? That would be $3,000 in revenue, okay? But how much of that is actually profit? Well, as a rule of thumb, when dropshipping, you can expect to pay 25% as product and shipping cost, okay? So 25% of 30 is $7.50. Okay, 25% of 30. Then you need to deduct your advertising cost. Now, it's probably unlikely that you're getting a cost per acquisition any less than around about $15, okay, which would be 50% of your selling price. Now, what do I mean by an acquisition cost? This is your cost of advertising that you would typically spend on meta ads to actually generate the sale, okay? So already of that $30, you've lost 75% of your margin, and the profit is starting to look pretty slim at $7.50. Now, we need to take into consideration one more thing, which is your payment processing fees. So this is the cost that you have to pay the payment processor in order to accept the transaction of $30. Now, usually this is around about 3%. So if we assume 3% of $30, that's around about $1. So our cost to generate this sale is $23.50, which combined is 78% of our margin, which means of that $30, you get 22%, and that is your profit. So $30 times 0.22 is $6.60. Now, if we're to apply that same logic to the $3,000 that you achieved from 100 sales, that would be 3,000 times 0.22, $660 in profit. Now, that's a lot of work for $660 in profit. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a lot of money. To some people it is. But now let's run the numbers selling high-ticket products with Google Ads, and let's see how they compare. So now let's assume we're selling $300 products, which isn't unusual, by the way. I'm personally selling products that are $300, $400, $500 in value. I have students that are selling products that are $500, $600, $700 in value. So 300 is actually on the lower side. Bear in mind, I recommend at least $100 plus. But let's assume in this instance, we're selling $300 products and we generate 10 sales, okay? Which would equate to $3,000 in sales. Same as the example that we provided a moment ago for low ticket. Now let's run through the same scenario. So 25% on product and shipping cost, which would be $75. Now, as you guys saw earlier in my profit and loss, I'm getting anywhere between a 4 to 5x return on advertising spend comfortably, right? So if we're to take $300 and divide it by 5, that will give us our cost per conversion or cost per sale. Because what ROAS means is your return on advertising spend, which means if I'm spending $1 and my return on advertising spend is 5, then for every $1 I spend on ads, I generate $5 in revenue. Okay, it's a ratio of 5 to 1. So if we wanted to calculate what my cost per sale is, as in what I have to spend to generate a sale with Google Ads, we would simply take our product price and do 300 divided by 5, because our ROAS is 5, and then that will tell us exactly what we pay, which in this instance would be $60, okay? 300 divided by 5. Then we need to take into consideration the transaction fee, which again would be 3% of $300 would be $10, which is our cost that we pay the payment processor to accept the transaction, which means our combined cost is $145. So we need to do 300 subtract 145 to give us our profit, which would be 551. That is our profit per sale, after all of our costs considered. Now, if we times that by the number of sales that we generated, which was up here, 10 sales times 155 would give us $1,550 profit. So remember here a moment ago, we were generating $660. Here we've generated more than double, okay? Now, not only have we generated more than double, we've done it with much less workload. 10 customers versus 100, okay? When you have 100 customers and you're selling low ticket, low quality junk with meta ads, which ultimately attracts people that purchase on impulse, right? If you think about these people doom scrolling on their phone, on Instagram, looking to be entertained, then your ad pops up as an advertiser, hey, buy this $30 product. It's something they don't even want. It's a piece of junk. They buy it on impulse, right? Then they have to wait, what? 10, 15 days for it to arrive, depending on how good your carrier is. You're probably not using the fastest expedited shipping because your profit margins are so low that you can only afford to use the slowest shipping couriers. What does that mean? Well, you've got 100 customers waiting a long time for a piece of low quality junk that they don't even want, which means your dispute rate is going to be very high. Customers are going to be unsatisfied, they're going to leave negative reviews, and ultimately you're going to have more chargebacks, which isn't good for your business because you get too many of them and they'll simply shut your payment processor down. Then how are you going to accept payments? Not only that, but think about the amount of customer support you have to deal with on the back end. That's 100 customers that you have to make sure get their product on time, are happy and satisfied, which is why when you look at most dropshippers' Trustpilot pages, they're littered with 1-star Trustpilot reviews because they just have tons of customers that are unhappy. But here, we only have 10 customers. Now, because they're spending $300 on the product, they've done their research before, they've already decided that they want to buy the product, they've gone to Google, they've found our brand, we're an authority within that niche, and they're comfortable spending the money. Also, because we have more profit margin, we can afford to spend more money and get the fastest expedited shipping lines so that the customers get their product very quickly. And we brand the product with our own custom packaging and also logos. So we create an entire customer experience, and we can afford to do this because we're selling high ticket products and we have a bigger margin, which means on average, customers are getting their products in about 5 to 8 days. So not only do you make more money, customers are more satisfied. So let's revert back to what we said at the start, okay? So not only do you make more money, more than double profit than what you get with low ticket dropshipping, you're selling to customers who actually want to buy the product that you're selling. You're branded, which means the customer experience is better, which means you get 5-star Trustpilot reviews, not 1 star. You have a lower chargeback rate, which means your payment processes are happy and healthy. And all the while you're selling these products, you're positioning yourself as more and more of an authority within this niche, which means you build brand IP and you appeal to a prospective buyer if you ever want to sell this business. So now, as promised, I'm going to break down my 4-step product validation method. Now, I'm going to share with you my 4-step product validation method right now. But before I do, I want to let you guys know that I actually have a free Google Ads dropshipping group that you can join, and I break down everything that we've been discussing in this video in much more detail. It's completely free to join. All you have to do is see the link in the video description and join the free Google Ads dropshipping group. So if you do want a more in-depth breakdown of the 4-step product validation method and how it works, that's the best place to go. But even still, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to break it down for you guys. So what is the 4-step product validation method? Well, essentially it's a method that I've developed with my past 5 years of Google Ads dropshipping experience, and it shows you how to find products that have product market fit. What is product market fit? Well, we want products that have high search demand. We want products that have low competition. We want products that are evergreen, which means we can sell them year round. And lastly, we want products that have a high profit potential. Now, this one we kind of already spoke about earlier, right? Like, we want to find high ticket products that are at least $100 plus, because you've seen the business economic breakdown that I did of low ticket versus high ticket, and of course high ticket just makes more sense logically. Now, what do we mean by high search demand? Well, as we discussed earlier as well, we want products that people are actively searching for on Google. So to find these, all we do is use a free tool called Google Keyword Planner. Now, all you need to access this tool is a Google advertising account. Again, I show you how to do all of this inside of my free Google Ads dropshipping group. So if you want to learn more on that, join the group, guys. It's completely free. But essentially, before we bring a product to market, we need to make sure that people are actually searching for it, right? As a minimum, we want to make sure that there are at least 1,000 monthly searches. Then, low competition. How do we determine whether or not a product or a niche is low competition? Well, given that we're going to be advertising on Google, it's very simple. You simply type in the name of the product on Google and you have a look and you see how many people there are selling the same product as you. That's going to give you a pretty good idea of two things. First and foremost is the AOV, okay? The average order value. You want to see roughly how much people are selling this product for, and this is how you check whether or not you can sell it for $100 plus. If the average people on Google Shopping and Google Search are selling the product that you want to bring to market for more than $100, then you're good. But how do you actually back this up with even more data to determine how much competition there actually is? Well, you revert back again to Google Keyword Planner, because Google Keyword Planner actually gives you an estimated cost per click. That's what you could expect to pay in order to generate a click on one of your ads, which is ultimately going to take someone from Google Ads over to your website. Now, what you can expect to pay as a cost per click is going to vary depending on the price of the product that you're selling. Now, once again, it comes down to maths. If your product price is $300 and Google Keyword Planner says your estimated cost per click is going to be $1.50, what we can do is assume what your conversion rate will be. A fairly standard rule of thumb conversion rate in e-commerce, which means the rate in which your website generates sales, is 2%. Okay? What do we mean by that? Well, if every 2% of people that visit your site convert, then that would mean for every 50 clicks, you generate one conversion. How did we calculate that? Well, you simply do 100 as a percentile divided by 2, which gives you 50. We know what our cost per click is going to be to get one person to the website. And if our conversion rate is 2%, then we know that we need to get 50 people to the website to generate one conversion. So if our cost per click is $1.50, and we assume that we need 50 people to get to our website to generate a conversion, we'd do 150 times 50, which would be $75 is what we could expect to pay to generate a sale of $300, assuming a 2% conversion rate and a $1.50 cost per click. So as you can see, based on the numbers provided by Google Keyword Planner and some industry rule of thumbs, we can calculate what you could expect to pay and again determine whether or not the economics make sense. Remember earlier in the example I provided, my ROAS was 5, right? Which means to calculate my cost per acquisition, we did 300 divided by 5, which gave us a $60 cost per acquisition. So I was paying $60 to generate a sale. So we're not too far from this estimated 75, right? You can see we're within a range. Obviously, just the conversion rate on my site is a little different, and as is the cost per click. So it's not going to be exact, but it's going to give you a pretty good indication of what you could expect to pay to generate a sale. So hopefully, you're already starting to see how by using the 4-step product validation method, and finding products that have high search demand, getting the estimated cost per click, having a look at the level of competition, and understanding what price point you can sell the product for, you're already validating this product before you even bring it to market. And that is why my students have an incredibly high success rate, because we do all of the testing up front, all right? Now, what most other people on YouTube are telling you to do, or inside of their mentorship programs, is just keep testing products. Hey, just bring more $20, $30, $40, $50 products to market, steal someone else's ads, their images, their videos, and keep running them until you find your winner. That's how you do it. Keep going until you get lucky. What kind of advice is that? Like I told you guys, forget what everyone else is doing. We are not going to find success by copying what everyone else is doing, which is why I've created my own strategy. And what do you know? We've found success. $127,560 in just 7 days. There are not many other people on Meta doing that, especially the ones that are teaching you to keep testing products until you find a winner. How much are you going to spend on Meta ads until you find this winner? Do you have deep pockets? Do you have unlimited budget that you can keep spending on ads? I certainly wouldn't want to keep testing until I get lucky. That doesn't sound like a very logical strategy to me. Instead, what we do is use the 4-step product validation method, and my students are bringing products to market with an extremely high success rate. There's one more thing we want to check, and that is whether or not the product is evergreen. We want to make sure if we're selling products, we're bringing them to market and we can sell them year round. Because what good is it if we can only sell in winter or in summer? What we're going to do for the other 6 months of the year? So to determine whether or not a product is evergreen, we simply use a tool called Google Trends. Again, it's completely free. We type in the name of the product, we have a look over the past 5 years, and we determine whether or not there is consistency or whether we should expect highs and lows. Provided a product passes our 4-step product validation method, we can then bring it to market. But before bringing it to market, we find at least 5 products within that niche, which is a category or subcategory of products, and then we bring them to market. Why do we find 5? Well, let me explain. Maybe you've heard of the 80-20 rule, okay? If you bring 5 products to market, that the 80-20 rule will apply, which means 20% of your products will generate 80% of your revenue. What is 20% of 5? 20% of 5 is 1. So what we're saying is one product is going to generate 80% of your revenue. So that's why we bring 5 products to market. Yes, all 5 products pass the 4-step product validation method, but even still, there will be one that generates 80% of your revenue. It's maths, it's physics. Don't ask me exactly how it works. Just trust me when I say it does. All right. So again, there is logic behind what we're doing. 5 products because one of them will generate 80% of your revenue. We always launch with 5 because of this, but then over time you can add more. There's nothing stopping you adding 10 products, because when you apply the 80-20 rule to 10 products, that means 2 of them will generate 80% of your revenue. These are the products that you then brand, customize, create packaging for to improve your customer experience. We're not afraid of then investing in minimum order quantities to get custom packaging made or even custom logos and designs put on products when we know they're converting. Remember, we explained earlier, low risk, high reward. We do all of the testing up front. We back everything by data. Once we have data inside of our Shopify dashboard to see what's working versus what isn't, then we proceed with purchasing stock, customizing, branding, and ultimately creating a better customer experience. But we only do that by reinvesting cash flow from profits back into the business to continue to grow it, which is why this is the best business model on earth. It's low risk and high reward. The only upfront investment you truly have is on advertising spend. And because we back everything using my 4-step product validation method, we remove all of the testing and have an incredibly high success rate. I tell all of my students to start with a budget of around about $1,000 in advertising spend. Then the profit we generate from the sales in ad spend, you reinvest back into the ad spend to keep growing and scaling. It's exactly what I did with my brand, the one that's done $127,560 in the last 7 days. I created a new business bank account, sent $1,000 into that business bank account, used it for ad spend, and ever since I've just been reinvesting it back into the growth. So trust me when I say we have a system here and it works. So once you've run the products through the 4-step product validation method, how do we then source them and bring them to market? Well, it's very simple. You use something called a private agent. Now, simple but not easy. Okay, what do I mean by that? It takes time to find a reliable agent that you can trust because they're an extension of your business and they have a very integral role. Here you are, here's the private agent, and then here is the web of suppliers that they have access to in China. Okay, here is the agent, here is you. They're based in China, you're based wherever you are in the world, and they have connections to all of the suppliers. So we need to find someone we trust to do the job of finding reliable suppliers that can then source you high quality products. and they send the products from here to your customer. And this is again where many people go wrong. They go to AliExpress, they go to Alibaba, they just find products that anyone can find on these websites that are low ticket, low quality junk, and it doesn't work. With my past 5 years experience in dropshipping, I've been able to build a reputation for myself and find people that I can trust that are very reliable private agents. This allows me and my students to get the highest quality products, the best price point, and the fastest shipping lines. If you're unsure how to find a private agent, I'd recommend talking to someone that you know who's dropshipping, maybe someone within your network, or going online and seeing what you can find. Obviously, the information and the contacts that I give out in my academy are exclusively to my students, and I'm not willing to really share those online. So I'm going to give you guys the blueprint, but you got to fill in the gaps, you know? Now, once we've used the private agent and you've successfully sourced your 5 products that are within your niche, we need to build a branded niche specific store. How do we do that? Now there's many different ways you can do this. Okay, you can build the store yourself. That's totally fine. Shopify is great. It just gives you the ability to have a drag and drop builder so you can move certain elements and sections and create it how you want it to be. What I do inside of my program is to save my students the hassle. I give them my high converting product page template so they just plug it in and they're good to go. And then I show them how to use AI and deep research to build what's called an ICP, Ideal Customer Profile, which is essentially a customer avatar. We want to know everything about our customers, and to create one, we use a deep research prompt and we get AI to scan the internet. So that's Reddit, Amazon, Facebook groups. We scrape reviews and information online to know everything we need to know about our customer. And you can do the same. You know, you can just use AI to do it, or head to some of these places and start exporting reviews. Then once we've created an ICP document, we use this to create all of the copy, so all of the text for our website. This allows us to make our store extremely niche specific because we know everything about our customers. We know more about our customers than they know about themselves, and we can speak directly to them in the copy, in the text that we use on our website, which is going to allow us to have a very high conversion rate. And when our customers or our shoppers are reading our website, they're going to be like, this brand knows everything about me. They know exactly what I'm looking for. And this is going to be a big green tick in their mind when they're positioning you as an authority, which is exactly why we build a niche specific store, so that we can speak exactly to our ideal customer profile, which means higher conversion rate. All right, which means you're going to get 2% conversion rate plus. And then what we do, and what you can do as well, take this ICP document, plug it into an AI tool called Sora, which is free, and you can use it to create AI product images. This whole process shouldn't really take you longer than 24 to 48 hours. Obviously, if it is your first time and you're trying to do it yourself, you are going to be a little bit slower. But honestly, with the number of tools out there online that are available, it really shouldn't take that long. If you're spending more than 48 hours on it, you're probably doing something wrong. Now, last but not least, we get on to paid advertising. So why am I talking about this last? Well, all that paid advertising is a magnifying glass on your business. If the foundation is not correct, then paid ads aren't going to help you. In fact, they're going to have a negative impact, okay? If the foundation is not correct and you suddenly start spending money on ads, pushing a load of traffic to your website and your products, but you've not built everything meticulously and followed a step-by-step plan, such as the 4-step product validation method, and built a branded, niche-specific, high-ticket dropshipping store, then all you're going to do is uncover all of the flaws, all of the holes within your business, because you've not done the work up front. And this is where most people go wrong. They do not have an advertising problem, they have an issue with their foundation. And people will come to me and they say, Theo, I want to learn how to do Google Ads. And it's like, Google Ads is not what you need to learn right now. You need to get your foundation right. You need to build your blueprint from the bottom up. Think about building a pyramid, right? You don't start at the top, you build the layers, you build the foundation, and then you add the piece on the top. If you start from the top down, it's not going to work, right? But provided you get all of the moving pieces correct, then is the time to implement paid advertising, and we use Google Ads. Now, I've already spoken to you guys in this video about why I use Google Ads, because it's high intent, because you capture people that are already looking for the products that you sell. But let me explain it in terms of a funnel. In fact, let's assume that we're talking once again about a pyramid, although this one is upside down. And here we're going to start from the bottom and build up, okay? We're going to go this way. Normally, what people do on meta ads is they bring people in here at what you'd call the top of the sales funnel. Then you have the middle of the sales funnel, and then you have the bottom of the sales funnel. As we've already mentioned, where do people go when they're ready to buy? They go to Google, right? And as advertisers, we're meeting them here at the bottom of the funnel. We're simply showing our product to people that are already looking for them with their credit card in hand, ready to buy, which is why we're able to maintain such a high conversion rate. And that's also why we're able to sell high ticket products. This is why you don't see anyone on Meta selling high ticket. They all sell low ticket, low quality junk, because they're showing ads to people who are looking at their phones, scrolling, looking to be entertained. You've got to take them from entertainment mode to then buying a product in the matter of 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds, right? That's very difficult to do, even with low ticket products. Imagine how hard it's going to be if you're selling high ticket. Almost impossible. So once again, we do what everyone else is not doing. We sell high ticket and we just sell products to people who are already looking for them. Meta, you have a much harder job because you need to take people from entertainment to purchasing, which is why Meta is also known as interruption marketing or interruption-based marketing, because you're doing exactly that. You're interrupting someone versus someone coming to Google, searching for the product, which is search-based marketing. All we're doing is capturing existing demand, because there are people all day long searching on Google to buy products. In fact, in the USA alone, there is 325 million people. All right. So how many people do you think in the USA alone are on Google searching for products that are high ticket every single day? There's a lot of them, right? And we've looked at the business fundamentals of selling a high ticket products. If we assume your price point is $300, you only need to sell 3 products a day, and you're basically doing 1K a day in revenue, right? Keep in mind that my profit margin is 46%. So 46%, let's assume 50 for ease of numbers. That's $450 of profit a day from 3 sales. There's 325 million people in the USA alone. Do you think you can generate 3 sales by simply selling products that people are already looking for and make $450 profit a day? I think you can. And it's exactly what all of my students are doing. It's exactly what I'm doing. And in truth, guys, this is all that I did to make $127,560 in revenue and $58,000 in profit in the last 7 days. I simply sold products on Google to people that are already looking for them. It doesn't need to be complicated, guys. If anything, I like to try and break it down in a way that is super simple and easy to understand. All we're doing is selling products online. We're not doing anything new. We're not doing anything that hasn't been done before. So do you think, after watching this video, that you can do it? That you can get 3 sales a day, make close to $1,000 in revenue, and almost $500 a day in profit? I'm here to tell you that you can. But you have to stop doing what everyone else is doing and ignore what everyone else is saying. And that is the problem with stuff online. Because when you're online, when you're on YouTube, when you're following different people, this is you, right? And you're listening to this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy. And each of these people are telling you something different. Meta ads, low ticket, fashion, home decor. Everyone's got their own method, their own strategy, and they're all saying something different, which means you, as an individual who's taking information from here, and here, and here, and here, you can't get anywhere. You get stuck, and what happens is you fall into this trap that I call analysis paralysis, which means you can't move. You don't know what direction to go in because you're being pulled in too many different directions. But what happens if you have one source of truth? What happens if you invest in mentorship, if you invest in guidance from someone who has done what you want to do? You have one source of truth, you have one North Star, and that allows you to move like this, upwards, on an upward trajectory. That is what you get when you invest in a mentorship program or listen to one source of truth. You can follow everything step by step and you have clarity and the ability to move forward. That is why I myself have mentors. Anything that I want to learn, I invest in the knowledge, the information, the education and the guidance from someone who has done what I want to achieve. You layer that in with accountability as well, and you've got a winning combination. Remember this, we're not doing anything that has not been done before. All we're doing is selling products online. It doesn't need to be complicated, but just get one source of truth, listen to what they're saying, forget all of the rest of the noise, and follow everything step by step, and you'll find success much easier. The problem is, when it comes to investing in yourself, most people think, oh, I'm just going to try and do it myself, and if I get stuck, then maybe I'll consider investing in mentorship. The problem with that is you lose much more time and money, okay? Time is the only thing that me, you, and everyone else have a limited and finite amount of. It's the most expensive thing in the world because we cannot get it back. So by trying to figure it out yourself, you waste time. Not only that, but you lose momentum. Because you're not progressing as fast as you want to progress, then you start having moments of doubt, wondering whether or not this actually even works. And maybe you'll even give up from doing it at all, after already spending time and also money trying to figure it out. That's the other thing. You end up spending more money trying to do it alone because you make expensive mistakes. Who do you think is going to get there quicker? You'll actually find that person A, who wants to use YouTube to gain all of their information and learn for free, takes way, way longer, if ever, to get to the desired destination of being profitable and building a successful e-commerce store than person B, who invested in the knowledge, the education, the information, the step-by-step blueprint and the accountability, and actually ended up spending less to get to the desired result quicker and more efficiently. And I know that may be difficult to comprehend, but I'm telling you, it's true. But rather than tell you, I'm going to show you. Let's take a look inside of my mentorship program so you can see exactly what students get when they join and also the results that they're getting off of the back of this. The program is designed in a way to take you from complete beginner to generating your first $10,000 in sales in 90 days or less. It is a step-by-step blueprint that is planned meticulously, taking my 5 years of experience and building it out in a format that you can very simply follow step by step to build a successful e-commerce store. We break down my 4-step product validation method. You then find 5 products that you want to bring to market that are within a niche. You submit that sheet to me for validation. I'm going to check it, I'm going to make sure everything's all good, and I'm going to allow you to move forward with confidence by introducing you to my private agents. My private agents are verified and trusted. They're going to go out to the market, get you the best quality products with the fastest shipping times and the lowest possible cost. Then we know that when you sell the products, the customers are going to be satisfied. I then show you how to set up a business so that you know everything is compliant. You get a business set up, you get a phone number, you get your own website, and of course a business bank account. Past that point, we have all of my information showing you how to build your ICP document using AI, how to use my product page templates, how to create AI images, and then obviously the boring stuff, policy pages, making sure everything's Google compliant. Then we have an entire module dedicated to setting up your Google accounts the right way to get GMC approved, your Google ad account created, and essentially everything ready for you to begin advertising. Then we get onto the Google advertising module where everything is broken down step by step, from campaign setup to structures to columns to bidding strategies, everything you need to successfully build and optimize your Google campaigns. Past that point, we get onto email marketing. You get 14 plug-and-play email marketing templates that you can use to set up your welcome flow and your abandoned cart to capture more of your visitors and turn them into converters. We then have a module on how to accept returns globally, which, shock, most dropshippers don't even do. Believe it or not, they just try and offer customers a partial discount to keep the product as is, which is why they get 1-star Trustpilot reviews. We get 5-star Trustpilot reviews by giving customers what they want and letting them actually return their products. Then an entire module dedicated to branding, showing you how to brand your products and further improve customer satisfaction. And then last but not least, international tax advice from one of my third-party consultants, helping you keep more of what you earn. This is the same blueprint that Fabi and Oscar got access to, and like I said, I'm going to record case studies on both of these guys showing how they generated $100,000 each last month alone. But we have so many more wins than just that. I mean, if we take a look inside of the community and go to the wins section, you can see we currently have 70 members, and inside, members are sharing their wins every single day. We've got Mateusz here. He's selling products that are £300, so that's about $400 each in value. He's absolutely crushing it. He's explained what he's been doing, what's moving forward, and how he's scaling. We have Mike here as well. He's started getting some first few orders. You can see here he was sharing a win with us. He actually sent me a message. This was just a couple of days ago. $315 from 3 orders. He's obviously had even more than that. We can see total sales, $750, $169, and 4.56x return on advertising spend. As I told you guys, I was getting a 4 to 5x ROAS in my profit and loss. This is completely normal for members inside of the academy. 4.5x ROAS. We've got Mateusz again with a £500 sale. Absolutely crushing it. This again was just a few days ago. 50% net profit. And another one, I mean, Matt is on fire this week. Like I told you, I have students selling £400, £500, £600 products. That's like, I don't know, $600, $700, $800. 100x ROAS, £205 net profit. That's about $300 net profit from a single sale. We have Yashvardhan based in India. He's crushing it. Alexander based in Estonia, €500 sales, 10x ROAS. We've got Inda. He's crushing it from Australia. Mateusz with another win. Mitch here getting his first sale. He's working construction in the UK. Was wondering whether or not it's really worth it until we got that first sale. That first cha-ching made it all worth it. He's continuing to push through. Alexander sharing another win. Patrick sharing wins. He's based in Finland. 2 sales here, £147 each within the space of 30 minutes. Again, what's 70% profit margins? So that's about £200 profit, $250 profit within 30 minutes. We've got Dan also selling $350 products. He's based in Australia. We have Oscar. So this is the guy that I'm going to record a case study with shortly. You can see here $26,000 in Google revenue in Swedish kroners. And this is within 60 days of him joining the program. You can see this is for the month of September. As I mentioned, November, he went on to do $100,000 in sales for a single month. So we'll be recording a case study on that soon. But as you can see, the wins go on and on and on. Not only that, but of the 70 members we currently have in the Academy, 31 of them have left 5-star reviews. This is the Trustpilot page for the Google Ads Ecom Academy. We've never received anything less than a 5-star. We have students from all over the world. We've got Asim from New Zealand. We've got Hestia from China. We've got Taha from Libya. We've got a guest here from the UK, another guest from the UK, Mindugas from the UK, Mike from the UK, Mateusz from Norway. We've got Dan from Australia, Dustin from the US. We have Prego from the Korea, Fabian, this is the guy who I'm also going to record a case study with, who also did over $100,000 in November alone. Alexander from Estonia, Demi from the UK, Oliver from the UK, Kyle from the US. You can see we have people from all over inside of the Academy, and everyone is absolutely crushing it. If we head over to my YouTube, I even have a few students who I've flown in person to meet. One of them came out to Dubai and meet me. His name is Sasha. Let's just pull up the podcast here that we did real quick. Here he is. I made €500,000 dropshipping with a single product. I then had another student who I met in Bali recently, Fabi. We built a 70k per month dropshipping business in just 4 months. So as you can see, students all round are absolutely crushing it. Now, if you are interested in joining the program, if you aspire to achieve time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, all of the types of freedom that e-commerce can provide, and you want to build an asset that generates you cash flow that is external from your time, that runs 24/7, 365, then you should consider joining my mentorship program. You'll gain access to the community. You'll gain access to the step-by-step blueprint that I shared with you, which is the same blueprint that all of these students have followed to be able to generate these results. So if you are interested and you want to learn more about the Google Ads Ecom Academy, see the link in the video description to learn more. Now guys, that is all for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this update. I guess I'm going to have to set a new target, right? I mean, we did $127,000 in just 7 days. So we're going to have to set a much bigger target. And of course, I will keep you guys updated every step of the way. So drop a comment, let me know what you think the new target should be, and we'll work towards that. Thank you for everything, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, and most importantly, smash subscribe, because those case studies for Fabi and Oscar will be coming out soon, and I want to show you guys exactly how we did it. So hit that like button, hit subscribe. That is all from me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.